This investigation is still ongoing, so we're still moving forward with this investigation. So there's a, it's a big case.
On Saturday, April 3rd, Guam Police Department received a welfare check call, according to GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau. In response, officers went to a Umatac residence where they discovered an expired, lifeless person.
This is where pretty much spun everything into motion with the initial investigation and, of course, the activation of our detectives. But Saturday, April 3rd.
Family members confirmed with KUAM the individual who was found dead in the home is former Umatac Mayor Daniel Sanchez, and that they had been searching for him for days prior.
The investigation prompted the activation of our criminal investigation division relative to the man that was discovered did not reside in that home. Through the course of the investigation, which pretty much took the entire weekend, our detectives were able to identify 2 persons of interest.
Repeat offenders 59-year-old Rudy Kenyatta and 32-year-old Joyner Scott Sked were arrested for the death of Sanchez. A magistrate's complaint charges the duo with murder as a first-degree felony and aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. The charges against Sked include a special allegation for use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony attached. According to the complaint, Kenyatta is the homeowner, and Sked, who court documents say is his girlfriend, frequently visited. Once at the residence, officers saw a padlock and chain securing the front door and smelled an odor that suspected a person may be dead inside. GPD used a ladder to gain a vantage point where they observed Sanchez's body lying on the floor face down and blood surrounding his body. Once inside the house, authorities saw severe blunt force trauma injuries to the head of deceased Sanchez and stab wounds to the front and back of his torso. Both a hammer and scissors were covered in blood and found near the body. Witness interviews determined that a couple days prior, on April 1st, Kenyatta, Sked, and a third male suspected to be Sanchez were seen outside the residence, in which one neighbor reported they heard yelling. Kenyatta was located and detained. He allegedly told police that, quote, Joyner did it. A witness stated to officers that Sked told them that she stabbed Sanchez while Kenyatta kept beating on him. The couple made their initial appearance in Superior Court late this afternoon for their magistrate's hearing. The government requested they both be held a $100,000 cash bail. Assistant Attorney General Jeremiah Luther.
This is a high bond amount, but we believe that it is appropriate given the circumstances. The violence in this case is outstanding. The police describe a scene where the victim was found face down in his own blood, beaten to death with a hammer and stabbed well over 10 times. The murder weapons appear to be at the scene. I would also point out that this individual has multiple pretrial cases that are open. She had already been put on house arrest by Your Honor.
Both defendants' long criminal history was detailed by probation in court. As we reported in November of last year, Sked was charged with child abuse as a misdemeanor and arrested after a toddler was found walking unattended through a Sinahanya neighborhood. Prior to that, in April 2020, she was arrested and charged along with Kenyatta for a family violence incident that occurred in Umatac. As for Kenyatta, he has had several previous run-ins with the law, criminal history dating back to the 80s when he was convicted of manslaughter for the death of a U.S. Marine. Despite defense counsel's arguments for leniency, ultimately Magistrate Judge Jonathan Kwan set the cash bails at $100,000 for Sked and $50,000 for Kenyatta. Both remain confined. Kenyatta and Sked's next court appearance was scheduled for April 15th.